Hi, I'm Mrs. Kistner, and today I'm going to tell you about understanding the parts of a plot diagram. In a story, the events of the story make up the plot. The plot is what happens. A story can have a short, simple plot or a long and complicated plot. Can you think of an example of each? The plot of a narrative or story generally follows a pattern like this. We're going to look at each one of these plot parts. The first plot part is the exposition. The exposition is the beginning of the story. This is where the author introduces the characters and the setting. Sometimes the exposition can seem long and boring, but in other stories, the authors plunge you right into the action. Things get more exciting in the story with the part called the rising action. This is when the conflict is introduced. The tension rises in the story until it builds to the plot part called the climax. This is also known as the turning point of the story. Sometimes it's the most exciting part or the moment of most tension. After the climax, nothing will ever be the same again for the protagonist. Now here's something for you to think about. The plot of a story looks like a mountain. Why do you think the climax is at the top? The next plot part after the climax is the falling action. This is the part that happens after the climax. Sometimes this develops quickly, sometimes it's rather long. This is where the tension starts to decrease. And then the story ends with a plot part called the resolution. In this part of the story, all of the loose ends are tied up, things are resolved, and you understand what has happened. Sometimes a story will end at the climax. This kind of story is called a cliffhanger. Why do you think it's called this? And now, to end up with a review, take a look at the plot diagram on this screen. How many parts of the plot can you name?